So I don't normally post anything political, but this conversation was so amazing and just interesting, whether you agree with it or not. It was a really interesting conversation that I felt like it would be awesome to post it and see what people's feedback was. I met Les Becker a couple days ago on Apex Legends, and we really got on. And she's a white lesbian living in South Africa, and we got onto the topic of racism and Black Lives Matter last night, and she just had a really interesting take on it. So there's actually an hour of this conversation, so if you guys like it, I can always post another chunk of it. It just takes a long time to edit each bit, so I've just posted the first 10 minutes. I hope you liked it, and yeah, I'll get into it.
That's pretty cool.
Let's have a little just summary.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of political and social issues, where do you stand?
I stand in between the woman's legs.
What, you're unwilling to say?
No, I really am lesbian, dude. Like, I love pussy.
No, I know, I'm not, but I didn't ask about your sexuality.
Okay, so what do you mean what do you mean by...
Like, political, socially.
Oh, political and socially. Well, I don't really mingle in the politicals very much. I think it's all a bunch of bananas playing house. In my opinion, I think they generally all have their fucking fingers up their ass and they have no idea what they're doing.
I think probably the most of the people that get on the news and on the media.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just the shit that is happening in the world today. I'm just like, can we please just have a meteorite just end us all right now? This is actually where I stand right now. I know that it's quite sad. I understand it's really, really sad and hectic. But the thing is, though, I mean, what kind of a life... Okay, this is what I stand with this whole movement that is happening in the world today. I have nothing against it. But at the same time, why is it racist to not see color? I feel that it's racist to see color. Do you get what I mean?
Yes and no. So I think if you're talking about personally,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's racist if you're just looking at the colour. But then also sometimes there's like a social issue. So for example, if you say, okay, black people are disproportionately in poverty, you have to be able to look at that like colour and that demographic and be like, okay, it's affecting black people. Why are they disproportionately in poverty? Do they need more encouragement to go through education? Do they need more, financial knowledge or whatever?
All right. I understand that, but where you see, like, where I'm from, which is South Africa, we already had the race war, and
Yeah,
not...
there's a lot of racial tension, isn't there?
Yeah, and to be honest, we already had that race war of black and blue and green and what have you, and actually what came out of it is just pure brutality and violence, and no one actually got any further or backwards.
Oh no, for sure. I don't think that looking at differences between races is a good thing. I don't think that's actually like differences between people don't really exist. You've got differences in upbringing and shit like that.
Exactly.
I'm thinking of more in terms of helping level. So, for example, you've got comedians like Kevin Hart that are going exclusively to black schools to talk to them about like financial knowledge and how they can save money, get credit cards and loans and shit like that.
Okay.
And I think sometimes if there's a community that's like disproportionately uneducated or victimized or whatever it is, you have to say, okay, we've got to specifically help that community.
Yes, which is utterly correct, but by using it as a racial thing, it's only going to cause problems. Really. I like it. You know what I mean? Like seeing the person for, or seeing that community for what they are, not the color.
Oh yeah.
That is what I mean. Like, okay, so the African Americans or whatever are more lower in the food chain according to them, but at the same time, everyone always assumes the grass is always greener on the other side, not actually knowing if it is, right? There's always that what if at the end of the day. So, like I said, because I'm from South Africa and I've seen brutality and I've seen violence and I've seen race wars. I mean, my friend, I still remember his name. His name was Dylan, and he died because he was white. And I'm not going to really go too much into the story, but he died in front of me. He bled to death and he died. And, you know, and he was quite young. And that's because of that was generally because of race wars. He was white and the people that killed him were black. Now, the things that I've been through in South Africa in terms of race wars, blacks and whites and what, that's why I don't believe in this movement very much, that Black Lives Matter, because the things that I've seen in general, regardless, I'm not talking about only white people, I'm talking about even black people in Africa have been through. I can't stand by that rule. I can't. It actually just goes against.
It's a movement that comes from a culture that doesn't have the same level of issues that you would experience in South Africa, where you, like you say, you have literal race wars. In America, you've got a small percent. The reason it's happened is you've got a small percentage of racist policemen who are being, committing race crimes.
Yeah.
And then you've got this massive movement. But obviously, what is happening in South Africa is way more serious than any of that.
Yeah, and it's and it upsets. It slightly upsets me when I say all. I understand in America that all lives matter seems racist, but to me it's not, because none of those people in reality have been through war like I have, quite literally, when it comes to race.
I'm in complete agreement. I think
and
if you say all lives matter is a racist term, that's ridiculous.
It is, because I'm serious. I'm trying to hold in a cry here, but the things that I have seen, people in America wouldn't even dream of it. Like, they would probably have committed suicide by now, because it's I mean, it's not nice. The violence in Africa is beyond, and it's got nothing to do. It's like, in a sense, it does have something to do with race, but at the same time, it doesn't really. Nobody gives a shit. Like, yeah, but I don't know how, because people, I have tried to explain this to people in America and like people that live in America, and especially one person that I spoke to about it, like, she was like, she blocked me on Twitter because of I said all lives matter, and I said to her, and I was like, dude.
Without sounding too, again, political, the American left, I think, is very aggressive about things like that, because you have the situation where it was like, okay, the left is not racist. So
yeah.
If you don't agree with the left, you must be racist. That's the mentality.
Yeah, I'm not hurt, but I'm like a little bit upset that I even said to her, I explained to her, I said, look, she's like, do you really believe that all lives matter and like not, and you're against the black movement and Black Lives Matters movement? I said, no, I'm not against it. All lives matter to me because I am from South Africa. Is a whole new other ball game to what you know. Seriously. And
I remember watching this interview with this black policeman in America, and he was saying that white people are actually getting way more aggressive about this than black people. So there'd be a black protester, and be having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And a white person would run up being like, you can't talk to him, he doesn't believe Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I you know, it's just, it's like 2019 was great, considering, and then 2020 happened, and then and everybody was sent to their rooms to think about all the shit that they've done in the world, and then this goes and happens. Like, did they learn nothing?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is actually people just being pent up. It's like a mixture of boredom and lack of social contact. And they feel like everything's going wrong in the world, and then suddenly someone comes along and they go, oh, here's a really easy, forgive the term, black and white solution, and they go, oh, okay, cool.
Let's all fight for that, you know. And also this movement, yes, I'm not saying what's happening in America is any good. I really am not.
Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like or subscribing, as I'm still growing the channel. If you did like it or have any suggestions on how I can improve the quality of my videos, or any topics you want to see me cover in the future, please comment them in the comments section down below and I'll check them out. Also, I'll be posting a link to my blog where I cover game news and reviews, and there's also some exclusive interviews with game developers about their upcoming games, and that will be in the description of the video. Thank you.